It's not God's way, and it needs not to be our way. We have to give Him our very.
ICC Maui. ICC Maui. Sick.
Good evening. I want to welcome everyone that has joined in. We are Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces podcast, a healing experience with TAUHEEDAH Washington and my co-host,
TARSHA Gaddy.
We want to welcome everyone that has logged in. We are live from the studio that we're renting studio space in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. We are launching off. Today is a great and exciting day. We have an exciting lineup for everyone. I want to first give a little background on me and our podcast, Pretty in Peace. Again, my name is TAUHEEDAH Washington. I am the CEO and founder of Mobile Moms. I am also the co-host for Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces, a healing experience. Our podcast basically has came about as a spin-off from my nonprofit, which started after the untimely death of my son, Tajir Williams, who passed away October 7th, 2019, the day after his 21st birthday. I have made it a mission and a purpose in my life to help as many mothers and families cope with the loss of a child. I host healing workshops. I host Zoom calls with the mothers. My goal and my purpose is to help mothers and families rebuild and heal from the loss of a child. God placed on my heart about 6 months ago to launch a podcast. Initially, I did not know who I wanted to launch this podcast with. God placed on my heart to ask TARSHA Getty to join this mission with me. I will introduce her and allow her to give a background of her story and her mission as well. She also has lost her child the same year that I lost mine and was one of the first members of Mobile Moms. So I'll pass it over to TARSHA.
Thank you so much. So so like TAUHEEDAH had mentioned, I lost my son Joshua May the 3rd, 2019 to a hit and run driver in DC. He was only 24 years old. And during that time, I just felt myself, just like what they say, lost in the sauce, because I didn't know exactly, where to turn from there. And untimely, not even knowing that TAUHEEDAH was going to experience the same thing the same year with losing her son Tajir. And God placed it on her heart to create the Mobile Moms Foundation. And I had, reached out and had tried, other areas of healing and therapy, but it just wasn't for me. They have all different types of therapy groups and different healing aspects of grief when you lose a loved one. But it was nothing that really catered to TARSHA. It was nothing that just catered to a mom losing her son. So when TAUHEEDAH came, when God placed it on her heart, after she had was going through and had locked herself away like we do, cope and trying to cope with that new situation that we're dealing with in our life, in our lifetimes. And she came back out full force with Mobile Moms, and it really truly changed my life. So I've been definitely an active member and a part of that organization since she launched that. And then, like as she said, then God placed it on her heart about this podcast.
Yes.
And touching more mothers all over the world, from city to city, state to state. That is our mission and our goal. And then it was also prophesied to me by two different people, like only unbeknownst to me that it was about this podcast. I kept being told that I was going to go into business with someone, and I have my own businesses in some other areas. So I was like, well, what type of partner am I going to have? I'm thinking about the businesses that I already, I'm involved in, but it was nothing that I was thinking about, in the day, I was told this twice, like over and over again for like the last year and a half. So the day TAUHEEDAH called me and told me, what God had told and shared with her. So it's just God's blessing, working through us, turning our pain into purpose. That's what we love to say every day, because that's exactly what it is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tasha. Yeah, like Tasha said, just finding healing and helping other people heal. That is what our podcast is about. So Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. People have asked us how we came up with the name of the podcast, and basically the name of the podcast basically is that Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces is that God has given us beauty for ashes, so we don't look like the trauma that we have been through, that we're not in pieces, that although we have suffered a great loss, we have found healing and helping other people heal. And as Tasha can attest to, Mobile Moms, we have a private group on Facebook, and it's a growing number of women. We're up to almost 60 mothers, and we uplift and heal and rebuild one another. So this podcast here is the next level of what we're doing in terms of reaching the people. In addition to being in the studio and airing at home, we also will be traveling with this podcast. God has placed on our heart that first city that we will be traveling to is Atlanta. So if we have cities out there that will be interested in a unique experience, a unique podcast that is given a platform and a voice for mothers and fathers and even the siblings that have lost children. Tasha and I will be having our children on, my son Lawrence Washington and her son Little Jeff, who were close to their older brothers. And what we discovered in our grief as parents that have lost a child, that not only does the impact significantly affects the parents, but it also affects the siblings as well. So we will be bringing our children in to discuss and reach out to the young people that we have mothers, and we have brothers and sisters that have lost their older brother, older sister, young brother, younger sister, and they're hurting as well. And so they need to be heard. They need to
Absolutely.
have a platform where they can express how they're feeling and how they're coping from their loss and how they're turning their pain into purpose and uplifting one another, just like Tasha and I and the other mothers have an organization to build one another's. We want to have my brother's keeper, sister to sister, for the siblings that need the support in the areas of healing as well. So this is a little background of what we're doing in terms of Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces. We do have a special guest in the studio with us, and I thought it was very important to start off our podcast providing a voice to a father that has suffered the loss of a child. Not only lost one child, but he has lost two children. And I just want to, a lot of times what I have discovered over the last 3 years of healing and rebuilding from the loss of my son is that the mothers do get a lot of attention, whereas the fathers don't get a lot of attention. And men, period, in the areas of mental health, it's like, when does the men have a safe place to properly grieve, because they're hurting as well. So we do have a guest in the studio with us today, Jeff Getty. If you would like to introduce yourself, we welcome you to Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Getty, married to this wonderful, wonderful lady right to my left, TARSHA Getty. And it's a good thing that, you know, with my wife, he is doing for the community. But what I like to say, me and my wife, I went through something. You know, we went through something. And Joshua was there. You know, we went through a big deal. As though we moved out from each other. One talking on the phone. I go with the kids. She get them. That thing. Almost for 2 years. Almost 2 years we did this.
Yeah.
And my son Joshua was there with her. With her. And every day, me and Joshua, let me say this. Me and Joshua, I love my son. When I first saw him, he didn't look like a Jeff. I said, babe, he don't look like a Jeff. His name is
He
Joshua.
said he's too pretty to be Jeff.
I was just like, oh, look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me and Joshua was so close. But when he got old enough to deal with this person, he didn't want to say nothing else to me.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but to say that, I'm just saying, mothers, y'all love hard. Daddies love careful.
That's good.
And me and Joshua, we got him through high school. He got him a work job. Joshua was the sweetest kid you ever could see. He's so tight with his brothers.
He's a people person.
He just
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a wonderful kid.
You can tell through the
And
picture
when-
with that smile.
And when we fell out, I fell off because my son mean a lot to me.
Of course. Of course.
A lot.
Of
And I
course.
was so glad when me and his mom got back together because I knew that was going to push us together.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm so afraid of losing somebody else. Like my brother, he died. My mother-in-law, she died. I'm just so afraid.
It's a lot. Yes.
And I just feel like if you need help, you need to talk, you need to go eat, call me.
Right. Right.
Call me because I am my wife, she understands what I'm going through. My daughter, she had lupus.
Mm-hmm.
She died. She died.
It just came out of nowhere. Like she.
Yeah. And so, can you tell us, like, I know Joshua was May 2019. So your daughter passed when?
She died.
February 2021.
Yeah, February 2021. Yeah. But to say more about my son, we started to get together. Me and him, he understood me, I understood him. And it was so, because Joshua wants me and wife together, but Joshua laughed at me. But like, I'm going to do my thing.
Right.
But he came back, and I told my son that, like, but he did. That New Year's Eve, is his phone my wife got. He looked at me, gave me a kiss, said, Dad, I love you so much. I will never forget those words there in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Every time I close my eyes and I see him,
Yeah.
that's what I see.
Yeah.
Dad, I love
Yeah. We cherish those memories.
you. Dad, and like Lil Jeff, he's stepping up. Because I always remind me, hey, Mom, you need to step up.
Right. Because you're the big brother now.
You're the big brother. You
Yeah.
need to take care of Jeremy and just.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just wonderful to know that there's people out here like y'all still that's doing this.
Yeah.
I don't have to do this,
Yeah.
but y'all spirits, y'all hearts is in the right place. Y'all helping them ladies, Y'all don't know y'all helping me. I listen to y'all conversation all the time.
That's good. That's good.
Y'all
Thank
helping
you.
me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just gonna ask you, how, so, like Tahida had mentioned, not only, you lost your oldest child without family, and then you lost your oldest daughter. Like, how have you been, like, emotionally?
To be totally honest, because I suffer with heart disease, I suffer with whole bunch of little illness that I'd rather not speak right now, but that's just one of them. And my wife, she keeps me up.
Yeah. Thank God.
She's on my back about things I should be on my back about.
Yeah.
My wonderful kids.
Yeah.
They always checking on dad, making sure dad's alright.
Absolutely.
Family.
Yeah. Which
That's
is so
what keeps
important.
me going
Yeah.
every day. It's days I just like.
Do you feel though, Jeff, like, because I feel like a lot of times with the men, it's a pressure because you're the head of the household.
Very
you're
much
the
so.
father.
Very much so.
So do you feel as though
Absolutely.
you do give yourself that time to grieve, and that's that time to kind of like collect your thoughts in terms of, because I feel like with you losing Joshua and then here come your daughter, it's because I had back-to-back losses with my parents. I lost my mother and father 5 months apart. So I feel like my father passed February of 2015, and by July, 3 days after my birthday, my mother passed. So I felt like I couldn't even like grieve from one loss because here comes another loss. So do you feel like you even had enough adequate time to grieve Joshua before burying your daughter?
No. And during that time, a lot of people in my family passed away. From a lot of people was going fast.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to even let that set in.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like when it's compound losses, and they say like humanly your brain can only take so much trauma. So you probably didn't even have enough mental space to kind of grieve so many losses. So where are you at today with the loss?
To be totally honest, I don't know. I take it day for day.
Okay.
I take it day for day. I had my happy days. I had my sad days. I had my good days. And I think, and I know, I ain't gonna even say think, I know it's because of my wife and my kids.
That's,
Anything else, I'll be long way from me.
yeah. Your family give you a reason.
God ain't ready for you yet.
No.
Yeah.
So piggybacking on what Tahida had mentioned earlier about, all the different things that she's been doing with Mobile Mom, which has been so awesome. Tahida also did a special with the fathers.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey, you were a part of that.
I was.
So, Tahina, we talk every day, and we always, in our conversation, we're always, we're manifesting, and we say, what we say is that's a daily practice for us, to turn our pain into a purpose.
Absolutely.
So what would you say turning your pain into a purpose would be? Because I saw like you light up on the phone with those other fathers, just communicating back and forth with them.
Yes. I would say I would love to do more communication with fathers that's going through this status right here.
Okay.
I would love to take them to dinner and we just
Fishing trip, you mentioned a fishing trip. Yeah.
Fishing trip. Get it active with our young youth
Absolutely.
more. I mean, heavy.
Yeah.
I got younger kids that can interact with me. Like somewhere where they can go dancing, they can stuff like that. Go skating. I love skating.
So like a support program for the fathers, but incorporating the youth with the fathers.
But the father said, not only with the father, but the man who's going through that.
Yes.
Who's going through that. And,
Right.
and even if their kid ain't there, we can let them see that, look, we have kids, man. You be a father to these guys.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't gonna get, you can sit down with them, talk to them, ask them how they gonna be a mentor for them.
Right.
These kids need this.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
tell them your story, I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how these kids interact. You're like, yeah, I was going through that. But that's what I want to do.
Yeah, just having someone for them to hear them out and to listen to them. So I guess what advice would you give to a father who may have suffered the loss of a child and feel hopeless, feel like everything's inside, they haven't released it? What advice would you give them in terms of coping with this type of loss?
So the advice I would give is to be strong, stand up, because if you don't be strong, it's going to take you for a ride you never been on. So I just say be strong. I mean, if you can't be strong, find somebody to be strong with,
Yes.
because that person sees stuff that you don't see
Right.
all the time.
Right.
I want you to tap a little bit deeper into that statement. So when you say be strong, but like when their child has just been ripped off of this earth, never to be seen again, you know, until we go to glory, where are they getting that strength from? What if they can't muster up the strength?
Come to people like me.
Okay.
I'm that person.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to you
Yeah.
because my time is here. So I can tell you about those times.
Yes.
I
If you've
can-
experienced
Yeah, I
it.
can tell you about those times. I can tell you what you about to feel. I can tell you what you feel. I'm that dude. I can do that for you.
Right. Right.
You don't have to go ahead and go to the bar. You don't have to go ahead and chase no wedding because you hurting right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to go ahead and get in a fight. You can come to me and some of the other guys that's on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see that grief right there will make you feel so good because you like, oh, I didn't even know this was on my chest like this.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And I didn't know someone else
Yeah.
felt the way that I felt because I've been keeping it in
Yeah.
for so long.
Yeah, it's very serious. It's so serious. And we need to just help as many as people we can when it comes to this
Absolutely.
situation.
Absolutely.
We really do, because
Absolutely.
a lot of
It's
people
tough.
just don't want to be here no more.
Right.
For real, a lot of people just don't want to be here. Just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm
Absolutely.
glad y'all have this so we can talk about it. And like, that's not it. But when
Right.
you don't have the people that you can sit down with and do these things with, that's how you gonna feel. And I
That's
feel it's
good.
great.
Yeah, and that you touched on something that I had actually touched on in one of my YouTube videos in terms of mental health, especially with men, that I feel as though like women, we're quick to be like, it's okay not to be okay, and we will seek counseling and we'll seek a therapist. But it seems like with men, it's very difficult. You know, I have a friend that unfortunately she had lost her brother to a accident, and her father grieved the death of her brother for 5 years going to the accident site.
Yes.
And unfortunately he took his own life. And so we know firsthand the death of a child. The initial thought that you have, being so transparent and honest, is that I want to be with my child. You know, so we know how heavy that grief is if you don't get the proper help to get through
And
it.
that's how I feel. You're like, man, I just want to be with my kids. Like, what's that going to do?
Right. because you have family here that needs you.
That's what it
And
is.
it's important for, we know that God has our time. We don't take, we're not authorized to tell God when our time is up. God
Nope.
tells us when our time is up. But I thank you for opening up, Jeff, because another thing I feel as though it's very difficult for a lot of men to express that level of vulnerability in terms of saying, hey, I'm not okay. Yes, I am hurting. Yes, it does weigh on me heavy because, losing a child is not when they say it's 5 stages of grief, you don't just go through 5 stages of grief and say, oh, I'm healed now. It's, here we are going into year 4 and, speaking for myself, my son stays on my mind all day, every day. So it's not something that goes away. We learn to carry it along with us, and through the platforms of Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces and Mobile Moms and other organizations that are dedicated to providing support to families and parents that have lost children, and it's getting through it together and being and providing a safe place. And that's what Mobile Moms is, and that is what Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces is. It's a safe place for parents to provide information to one another, to share their stories. We're going to tap into the different cases because we do have a lot of pending cases with the parents. With my son, he was provided a pill the night of his birthday that was laced in fentanyl that took my son's life. So we still don't know who the person was that sold the pill. So that's still, an ongoing investigation in terms of getting these pills off the street and finding out who killed my child, because even though he wasn't murdered down with a gun, he was murdered by a pill because he was given something that he didn't ask for that killed him. And same with Joshua. Joshua coming home from work and hit by a driver that's still walking the streets. So we just need justice for our kids, and we are the voice for our children because they're no longer here.
Nope.
So
Absolutely.
Tasha, you want to kind of tap into the vision of our podcast and where you see us going in the next chapter and phase of Pretty in Peace and Not in
Absolutely.
Pieces?
So the vision is broad, you guys. I mean, it's there's no cap on the heights and the ceiling of what we're trying to do with Pretty in Peace. We're like I said, city to city, state to state, we are coming. If whoever's watching and listening now, we would love to grace your radio stations, what have you. But we think we're going to be on stages, different places. We're going to really do a great community outreach throughout this journey. As I said, to try to reach as many moms, and then along the way, we're going to grab the dads as well, because like TAUHEEDAH said, they are left out because they are the stronger species, physically, that people think. So they think that a lot of people think, oh, they're okay, but they're not okay. So it's just great things, in store to come. And we're happy to be in this space. Not that we have arrived, because it's easy every day for me not to even to be able to get out of bed, like TAUHEEDAH said, because I'm thinking about and Mr. Joshua every minute of the day.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm just making more sense of what my purpose is through this pain. So it's something that drives me. It's something that gives me motivation to want to get out of the bed, if that makes sense. So we're just super excited about this podcast. And we are live tonight from People to People studio. So we are loving that. Thank you to Rodney Grimes for having us. And y'all want to see more of us here from the studio. And we'll be podcasting too from home as well. And introducing other guests into the podcast with us, talking about different things that are going on. So if you do know any family members or any friends that have experienced a loss of a child, let us know. Reach out. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Absolutely.
Just let us know. Is no formalities. Just hit us up and let us know so that we can be in contact with those people that are in need of our assistance.
Absolutely, and we want to do some community outreach in your city, and provide the platform. We have some, on my algorithm on my YouTube, I have followers in Jamaica, and we have passports, so we will travel to your country to host Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces, because it is a lot of amazing people turning pain into purpose. It is some wonderful foundations out there that have lost children. I know that one of the members of Mobile Moms that I wanted to shout out, Eureka Powers. She has the Christine Foundation. She's in the Tidewater area, and her foundation was brought upon after the death of her oldest son. She has opened up a fitness store. He was big in fitness, so she has opened up a fitness store in memory of her son. And she also has her foundation that assists with the burials in her area. So, we're all about promoting other organizations and other people that are turning their pain into purpose, because when you do suffer the loss of a child, it's one of those things where you do a discovery and a meaning of life, and it actually just alters everything that you once known. And with me and TARSHA, with this being our oldest children, my son had just turned 21 years old and was enrolled in school and working, and had his whole life ahead of him, and for his life to be cut short, I feel like it's my life purpose to be a voice for my son and to help as many people as I can, because this is not an easy walk. A lot of parents do end up having health issues. A lot of them, I work with one organization, DC Alliance, where the organizational lead for that organization, she explains how some of the mothers that she worked with, they don't get out the bed until the afternoon because of the depression. So it's heavy. It's not an easy walk for sure. I'm not a one that compare griefs, but I can tell you that I'm no stranger to grief.
Yes.
I have lost parents, and have now suffered the loss of a child, and I can tell you, even with losing my parents back to back, it was nothing compared to losing my son. When you lost a child that you have known 9 months longer than anyone on this earth, it just takes so much out of you, and it takes everything in you to keep moving forward. So that's what Pretty in Peace and Not in Pieces is about. So if your city, if you're in the local DMV area and you're able to come to Tyson's Corner, we would love to have you on the show so you can share your story of how you turn your pain and purpose. Use this platform to advocate on your child's behalf, because like we said, there's a lot of pending cases. We know that gun violence is an ongoing issue in the DMV area. So feel free to reach out to us, and we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, so it's definitely, I'm telling you, TAUHEEDAH, I'm just piggybacking what you were just saying. It's so true, because I'm not the same person I was before.
No.
I look like the same person. I may sometimes say the same things or laugh like I used to laugh, but internally, I'm not the same person.
Oh, no.
So it's deep. It's a lot, but we're here for the long haul to try to help everybody, get through feeling those type of emotions when you're dealing with grief. Also, I wanted to talk about my nonprofit that I'm working on as well. So it's called Josh Lives Through Me. It's a nonprofit. It's going to be in honor of Joshua. Joshua just loved people. He he just was just such a bright light. So it is going to be in honor of other moms and other parents who have experienced a hit and run. So they have the MAD out there with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It has not been proven to me yet that the person who ran my son down with a car was intoxicated or not. So I support that particular organization, but I just want mine to be geared a little bit different. So that should be coming soon. And Jeffrey and I, we've been discussing things that we would like to do. And Joshua loved people; he loved giving back. So our first mission is going to be this year for his birthday. During that week, we're going to cook for the homeless.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'll keep everybody in the loop of that.
Mobile moms is definitely will be involved in that as well.
Yes. So we're just trying to keep our children, keep their they're going to be alive through us no matter what. So we're just feeling really good about the podcast and helping other mothers, and hopefully we'll hear from some new mothers to talk. Have you heard it? You said you were getting a lot of inboxes and things. I mean, which is unfortunate. We don't want to put anybody to join the club that we're in, but just to know that they have a refuge in us is just a blessing from God.
Absolutely.
So like I said, your family members, whomever that may come across your path that may need to any of the services that TAUHEEDAH can provide, or either myself is a good thing.
We're here to support, and to your point, Tasha, unfortunately I get inboxes quite often. My sister lost her son. I got a text message from a close friend. Unfortunately, her cousin lost her son on New Year's Eve, and so it's just something that happens. And I had mentioned this to a friend. I'm not sure if it's because of the times that we're living in, but it just seems like it's an increased number of children that are losing their lives. So God shows me every day that what we're doing is such a needed space, because it's so many parents that don't know where to go, and they have family and they have that level of support, but to have the support of knowing exactly what I'm going through, because your family is everything in terms of the support you need, but they don't understand this type of loss. So when you have a mobile moms, or you have a podcast, and you have a support system that understands exactly what you're going through, it just gives you a level of safety and comfort that you really can't get from no one else. Definitely God first. We always give God the honor and glory. And I tell people all the time when they say, it's people that haven't seen me in years, or haven't seen me since the death of my son, and they're like, oh, you look good, almost like I should probably look like I've been through a blender, considering they knew how much my son meant to me. But I always say, thank God, and again, going back to the name of our podcast, thank God I don't look like what I've been through, because it is enough to kind of take you downhill. So we're wrapping up here, and I want to thank everyone that has joined us tonight. This was our first nice launching Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. I also wanted to shout out my son's one of his closest friends, Kyrie Luchin, who started the Tajir Williams Scholarship Foundation. We sent two children, one that was a student in North Carolina, and a student at Howard University that were scholarship winners of the Tajir Williams Scholarship Foundation. So, as Tasha mentioned, we are honoring our children. We have friends and family that are honoring our children as well, and just turning the pain that we've gone through into purpose, and helping as many people as we can go through the unimaginable and rebuild and heal through it. So any last words for us, Jeff? as we're closing out, and again, we want to thank you for coming on
Yeah, thank you
and
for
being
coming out.
open. You know, because I have fathers that I actually kind of check in on, and I want to thank you too. Wise, one of my friends from Norfolk State who lost his daughter, he speaks very highly of you, and I know that since the segment that I did, the Father's Day edition for Mobile Moms, you and Wise connected, and you guys have been a support system for one another. And I think that that's so important, that the brotherhood out of men saying, hey man, I understand, you know, I lost my child too, and you guys can kind of connect.
Yes.
So want to appreciate you for tapping in, because you know Wise was kind of having a difficult time, as we all have been, you know, going through that loss. So to have a man that knows that loss and connect with him, that meant a lot.
Well, what I got to say is, stay focused, stay positive, stay in school. Don't be
He always got to say that.
Absolutely. So, any last recaps, Tasha? You know, this has been wonderful. We're just getting started here, and you know,
Hey,
as
you
we
did
go,
good. You did good.
yeah.
Both of y'all did good.
Oh,
Shout out to the technicians.
yes.
Yes,
Shout out
yes.
to the moderators.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
It was a
Thank
great
you.
experience.
Absolutely. Our technical behind the scene. Thank you guys for working the camera. I appreciate everything. So I guess we'll wrap it up here. Pretty in Peace, Not in Pieces. We are on Facebook. I'm creating a Facebook page where we've actually streamed from our my Mobile Moms page. But we will be, I'm creating a page on Facebook. I do have the Pretty in Peace podcast page on TikTok. We will be streaming from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So check us out. If you would love to be a guest on our show, reach out to us. We'll be happy to have you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you next
See
time.
you guys next time. Thank you guys.